has been tasered by the police as he is trying to keep his house from catching on fire. Daniel Jensen wasn't running from the law. He was just trying to protect his home from burning up. Yet Pinellas Park Police in Tampa tasered him in the process. And they've got a lawsuit now going against the police. He was woken up by his wife at 6 o'clock in the morning, told that the house next door was on fire. He went over to do what he could and then realized that there was nobody home. So the next thing he was concerned about was the fire spreading to his house. So he made sure that everybody in his house was out. And as he saw the flames starting to spread to the roof of his house, he was training his hose on it because the police were there, but the fire department was not there yet. And the policeman told him to get back, but you know, your instinct is to try to keep your house from burning. And without warning, they tasered him. And as he described it, he says, "All I remember is laying in water, being electrocuted for saving my home." We need to do something, I think, about this almost indiscriminate use of tasers that's going on. You know, it's happening regularly. Every week there's multiple cases of the police using tasers for just the most minor things, even using them on children. But that's what's happening in our society here. American Airlines employee was put on a no-fly list. This is similar to the story that we had with Wade Hicks a few weeks ago. If you remember, Wade Hicks was flying and going to Hawaii, going to Japan, and stopped in Hawaii. He was visiting his wife who was in the military, and then halfway through the journey, when he stopped in Hawaii, he found that he was on a no-fly list. They removed him from the plane, and he was stranded there for 5 days at his own expense. Now, he contacted us, and after a few days, he was allowed to fly, and he asked why he was put on the no-fly list the entire time, but of course he was stonewalled. The same thing happened to this fellow in Florida. This was South Florida, and it was picked up by the local news station there. Basically, this guy was working for American Airlines and had worked for them for several years. He had even traveled extensively abroad. He traveled in July, and then in August he was told that he was on a no-fly list. And for 6 weeks, he tried to get an answer from the government, but they wouldn't give him an answer. Now, in his case, he was actually suspended from his job because he worked for American Airlines, and they would not allow somebody to work the gate that was on the no-fly list. The restriction only got lifted when he got the local news station to report on it. Kind of similar to what happened with Wade Hicks. We don't know if it was because we reported on it or if it was because of contacts within the military, but it was only because he made a lot of noise that he got off the list. We think he's off the list. We don't really know. They won't really tell you if you're on the list, just like they won't tell you what they've put you on the list for. And in this fellow's case, as soon as NBC6 reported on the story, 5 days later, they removed him from the list. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Homeland Security admitted that only 1% of the people who are on the list are actually real terrorists. That means that 99% of the people are basically being punished in absentia. They've been tried, they've been charged, they've been tried in absentia, and they've been put on a list, which is a punishment. And they're never even told about it until they try to fly. And then when you try to follow up with them, this fellow in Florida actually got the same thing that Wade Hicks got. And Wade Hicks just sent us this letter. Can we get a document cam on this? Got a letter from him that this is from Homeland Security. And basically what they're telling him is that they've gone through the Traveler Redress Inquiry Program. They got a nice little acronym for that called TRIP. And they said they take requests for redress seriously. We understand the inconveniences that additional inspections may cause, but there's actually no redress here at all. Redress means that you get a remedy, that you get something from it. Basically, all they're doing is telling him that they've gone through and looked at other agencies, and they're going to relieve him from the burden of seeking redress on an agency-by-agency basis. And they're going to relieve him by telling him, we're not going to tell you anything. So they don't really give him any explanation. They don't give him any redress. They just say, don't worry about going to all these other agencies. We've gone to them, and we're not going to tell you anything. It says, DHS has researched and completed our review of your case. Security procedures and legal concerns mandate that we can neither confirm nor deny any information about you, which may be within federal watch lists, or reveal any law enforcement sensitive information. So there you go. They're not going to tell you why you were put on. And in his case, they don't really even make it clear. This is kind of a form letter, and I noticed in the NBC6 report that the fellow there, Montano, Montano was his name, he actually got the same form list. And basically what they tell you is they give you a control number, and you can take that number with you in case you run into any difficulty flying. But it appears that they have two different subsections, and it appears that when you're traveling by air to or within the United States, you should have this control number, but of course you don't need it when you're traveling abroad because other countries don't do this kind of thing to their citizens when you're traveling abroad. It's only when you're coming in or out of America that you need to worry about these types of things.